Hey everyone, Chuck here. We've been talking about reconciling supply and demand, and want to take a little bit of time while we're here to talk about trade-offs. So a little bit longer video, but I think it's more all-encompassing. And really dealing with trade-offs is such a huge part of supply chain because not everything flows smoothly. Supply doesn't match up, with demand all the time. Capacity available doesn't match up with resources available and demands, et cetera. So we're inevitably, over the course of a day, going to have to deal with trade-offs here. And so let's talk about those a bit here and what causes them and why, and talk about those. So, you know, um, trade-offs can occur because of different volume and mix combinations when we end up looking at it. They occur when there's a conflict, when typically two entities need the same resource at the same time. When this occurs, we've got to resolve that conflict. So, whether it's from capacity, they want it at the same time, the priorities are there. We've got to break down that trade-off with it. Maybe we offer something to somebody else as an alternative to break the trade-off. Maybe somebody will wait a little bit longer to get their product if we're willing to pass on a little bit of savings. Maybe there's some overtime that's available to be able to get them both done. We've got to look at all these possibilities here, because what ends up happening in the process is these trade-offs just build up. Okay, they never go away. Pretty soon we're left with a calamitous situation when all's said and done here, and the customer is completely unhappy. Nothing solves the issue. So if we see a trade-off coming, let's deal with it right away, proactively. Don't wait until something's late and the customer calls and says, "Hey, where's my shipment?" And we go, "Oh, we had a problem because we've got two jobs competing for the same resource." And then the customer goes, "Really? This was a couple of weeks ago that I placed the order. Why didn't you tell me then? Why didn't we deal with that?" And so eventually they do catch up to us. So we end up with late orders, unhappy customers. They'll tell other customers. We get negatively impacted by it. So, we've got to evaluate alternative supply and demand plans and the risks that go with them. So, I add the risk here because part of dealing with trade-offs, part of dealing with change, it could have negative impacts down the road when we try to deal with that thing. So we need to identify potential risks that can occur at the same time, put things in place so that we're proactive about it. And if we do that successfully, then we can take care of unexpected changes and impact those impacts of those things that affect us. We also need to give some thought to the financial implication of the plan and the change as well, because this is just effective business planning. We create our budgets and preliminary budgets, financial statements. We assess them. As we look at all these trade-offs, we should look at what's going to be the financial impact of making that decision. Yeah, maybe we can spend $5,000 to do some overtime, take care of a customer. But if it's a $150 order and we're only making $75 on it, maybe we call the customer up and say, "Hey, it's going to be a day late," to be able to take care of that. So we've got to make sure we can make these decisions in real time. We understand them, we assess the impact of them, and make decisions that are healthy for all the way around and that stuff. Okay. And so we're continually aware of what's going on financially. Now, this last one is an interesting one when we talk about trade-offs: customer service, inventory, and backlog levels here. This is always a biggie. And so it's the trade-offs typically between marketing and sales and operations. So let me read what I wrote down here. Typically, the trade-offs between these three are because we have different goals. So, customer service, inventory levels, efficiency, financial objectives. Typically, marketing and finance are in tune with respect to the customer service being as high as possible, but operations is at odds with them because typically we're also held to the standard of being efficient and utilizing our resources well. So whatever a customer wants, unless we're totally agile, is hard for us to accomplish. In terms of inventory, marketing and operations are in tune with each other. We love to have high inventory levels for both components and products so we can respond to the customer. But then, of course, Finance is having some problems with it because it's like, oh my gosh, look at we're tying up in terms of cash. Okay. Um, when it does come to financial management, as long as we're here, finance and operations are in sync with each other because they both need to keep costs down. They both need to use resources well, while marketing is trying to take care of the customer at any cost because that's what drives the conversation. So you can see that, it's inevitable we're going to bump into each other because of resources, goals, whatever. The more we can make decisions that align with and support the strategy and operate that way, the more we're going to take down these bottlenecks or and trade-offs that occur. But again, trade-offs are going to occur, so we need to do whatever we can to articulate some guidelines for folks so that we can make the best decisions we can in the context and the situation. And those guidelines force us to ask questions to be able to answer what to do for this situation because there's so many possible situations that occur. There's no way we can have just one set of guidelines for everybody. So there's a part of me that says, success or failure of a business isn't just, supply chain network design, quality, raw materials, finance, but kind of wonder if there's this hidden layer of trade-offs that could make or break a company at the same time too. Won't get tested on it, but something to think about once we pass our exams and we go back to work is to think about what are those trade-offs and how do we want to operate around those.